Welcome to the NWSL in 10. My name is Jason Longshore, getting you set for week 3 of the NWSL season, looking back at week 2. It's a busy week around the NWSL as U.S. and Canadian national team players will, for the most part, be leaving their clubs after this weekend to join up with their national teams. That process is getting started, and things get a little complicated for some of the clubs around the league. Let's start with number 1 on the top 10. The wildest match of the season so far, 4-4 draw in Chicago between the Red Stars and the Portland Thorns last weekend. It was the ultimate of back-and-forth matches. Neither was unable to stretch the lead to 2 goals. Every time there was a goal, there was a response, and usually a pretty quick one. Lindsey Horan assisted on Christine Sinclair's opening goal, which was negated by a penalty from Chicago's Yuki Nagasato 2 minutes later. Red Stars take the lead for the first time. Sam Kerr steals the ball from Emily Sonnet, scores in the 20th minute. Portland equalized in the 33rd minute on a goal from Anna Maria Zagorcevic. Portland then took the lead 6 minutes after halftime when Megan Klingenberg notched her second assist of the day, setting up Sinclair's second goal. Red Stars forward Michelle Vasconcelos finished off a well-worked team goal for Chicago to tie the match at 3-3 in the 66th minute. There will be a quiz after this. Sinclair's penalty late appeared to give Portland a 4-3 win, but Nagasato equalized again, second goal of the day, in the 90th minute. Chicago nearly won the thing, hitting the crossbar deep in stoppage time, but the final whistle denied either team a 5th goal on the day, and they had to share the spoils 4-4 in Chicago. The hat trick for Christine Sinclair's number 2 on our list this week. She was named Player of the Week. 35-year-old Canadian just seems to keep getting better as she gets older. She's dropped into more of an attacking midfield role, not the out-and-out number 9 that she had previously played, although she can still do that from time to time when it's needed. She just gets wiser on the field. That soccer IQ just keeps getting larger. And Christine Sinclair, her hat trick last week was the second of her NWSL career. She'll be leaving the Thorns after this weekend's match to join up with the Canadian national team to prepare for her 5th World Cup. 5th time she is with the Canadian national team at the World Cup. And Canada, I think, are one of the contenders this year for the World Cup. It's going to be a fun summer in France, and Christine Sinclair will be a big part of it. Number 3 on the list, it was a big win on the road for the Houston Dash at Sky Blue, 1-0. Sofia Huerta scored for the Dash in the 83rd minute after Sky Blue's goalkeeper, Kaylin Sheridan, made 10 saves on the night. She made one of those saves on Rachel Daly, but she was unable to keep out the rebound from Huerta. Sheridan did all she could do to keep Sky Blue in it, and actually they had a chance to take the lead in the first half. Carly Lloyd had an opportunity from the penalty spot in the 27th minute, but she pushed it off the outside of the left post. There was a long delay ahead of that penalty, and there were some questions as to why maybe Carly Lloyd didn't reset her penalty routine. She felt good about it. She puts it off the outside of the post. Sky Blue couldn't find any other big chances in the match, and Houston battled, stayed in it, kept fighting through it, and Sofia Huerta finds the winner in the 83rd minute for the Dash. Number 4 on the list, the Utah Royals. They welcomed over 18,000 fans to Rio Tinto Stadium for their home opener, and they get the 3 points, a 1-0 win over the Washington Spirit. Kristen Press set up the goal after a steal in the attacking third, dribbled into the 18, beat a couple defenders, and her pass found Loya Labonta, who slotted home that goal in the 10th minute. Early goal for the Royals. They made it hold up. Late, though, Washington did create some chances. Rose Lavelle came into the match at halftime. She narrowly missed an equalizer on a free kick, and Royals goalkeeper Nicole Barnhart made a late save on Mallory Pugh to preserve that clean sheet and preserve that 3 points for a big home crowd in Utah. Number 5 on the list, Orlando. Good bounce back from them after the big 5-0 loss last Wednesday. They went to Tacoma and they earned a 1-1 draw against Reign FC in the home opener. Alana Kennedy's spectacular bicycle kick for Orlando opened the scoring in the 6th minute, and that was also your goal of the week. They needed that. They've had some real difficulties creating chances, finishing chances, but also just being under a lot of pressure from the two teams that, by the way, were in last year's NWSL championship. That's a tough start for the Orlando Pride. They lost at home to Portland. They went to North Carolina and got whacked 5-0, but they bounced back in a big way here. They couldn't hold on to the 3 points, though. Bethany Balser equalized for Reign FC later in the first half. Mark Skinner, the new Orlando manager, he wasn't happy about conceding the lead, but he has to take some satisfaction away from Tacoma with the improvement that his team made on short rests and with tired legs to get a result against Reign FC. Let's stay with Orlando for number 6. They'll be hosting the Utah Royals in the first game of this weekend's action, 7:30 on Saturday night. You can watch that on Yahoo Sports. Will they continue making progress? They're going to have to against a team that's likely battling for a playoff spot as the year goes on. These two teams could be battling for one of those last playoff spots. You have two goalkeepers with U.S. women's national team experience on display in this one. Nicole Barnhart kept a clean sheet in Utah's only match this season last week. Orlando's Ashlyn Harris has had a ton of work to do, but she had 17 saves in 3 matches. Keep an eye on Orlando and Utah, 7:30 Saturday night on Yahoo Sports. Number 7 on the list is the second match on Saturday night. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff with the Chicago Red Stars hosting Reign FC. Megan Rapinoe is going to miss another match for Reign FC as she recovers from a right calf injury. Both teams have 2 draws so far this season, so, the obvious prediction, even when you look back at last year when they met late in the season, it was a draw. Obvious prediction, draw. We'll see what happens. Sam Kerr and Yuki Nagasato each have 2 goals for the Chicago Red Stars this season. Goalkeeper Michelle Betos has been the star for Reign FC. She has 8 saves in her squad's 2 matches. Number 8 on the list, Sky Blue. They continue looking for their first win of 2019. They're welcoming the Portland Thorns to Rutgers University at 6 p.m. on Sunday evening. Lindsey Horan is listed as out for the Thorns due to a hip injury. She did play last week. In addition to Christine Sinclair's 3 goals this season, both Tobin Heath and Caitlin Ford have scored for Portland. For Sky Blue, the story's been the goalkeeper, Kaylin Sheridan. She had 10 saves last week. One of those was named NWSL Save of the Week. She has 13 saves so far in her 2 matches. Last year, she set an NWSL record with 108 saves, and she's well on her way to that kind of total in 2019. It's one of those records that you don't want because you don't want to have that much pressure in front of you, but Kaylin Sheridan is doing the best job she can to keep Sky Blue in matches, and they've been far more competitive in 2019. Number 9 on the list, it's a huge opportunity for the Houston Dash to make a statement as they host the North Carolina Courage at 6 p.m. on Sunday. It's the game of the week in the NWSL for me. It's at BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston. The Courage have only allowed 1 shot on target this season, and it's the only goal they conceded in the season-opening draw with the Washington Spirit. Crystal Dunn is tied with Sinclair for the Golden Boot race with 3 goals so far. Houston, they haven't scored as many goals as the Courage, but they've equaled their total of 19 shots on goal. The Dash are not going to be missing as many players as the Courage during the Women's World Cup. They're not going to be missing as many players as a lot of clubs around the NWSL. It's a prime opportunity for Houston to show that they can play with the top squads in this league at full strength. And we'll be watching Sunday at 6 o'clock on Yahoo Sports. Number 10 on the list, the North Carolina Courage learned who they will be facing in the Women's International Champions Cup in August. On August 15th at Solon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park, North Carolina will be taking on Manchester City in the second semifinal after Lyon plays Atletico Madrid in the opening match. The winners will battle for the title on Sunday, August 18th at 7:30 p.m. The Courage, this is one of the trophies they're trying to defend in 2019. We'll be back next week to keep you posted on week 3 of the NWSL. Thanks for listening.